Hey everybody, Rick Beato. People have been asking me for years when I'm going to do a video on how I built the studio. But really the most important thing is what's behind the camera. Nobody ever sees that part of the room, but there's actually about 20 feet behind the camera where all the secret stuff is. But I'm not going to reveal that until the end of the video, so you're going to have to stick around. For those of you that are new here or returning viewers, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now. Okay. You guys all know this view here. You see these windows here? Those are the windows to the control room. This is what it looked like while we were building the studio. Here's a lengthwise shot of the room looking back towards the amplifiers. But this is what it actually used to look like before we started. This is a little closer picture of the amp wall that many people think is a green screen. And then as I walk in here, this is an ISO booth that is filled with amplifiers and a hidden door. What's behind that door? This used to be where we would record the basses, but let's see what's in here now. Oh my God! It's where I keep all my shirts. This also has some other things in here. Old keyboard. There's a few microphones in here. Apple box. This main shot that you usually see, you'll see all my Les Pauls here. Let's take a look at those. Do you notice they're all different colors? Let me go through them real quick. Okay, so there's 6 different Les Pauls here. The front one, the red one, is a Les Paul Deluxe with mini humbuckers. That's actually from 1972. Then you have my Pelham Blue Les Paul. You've seen me play many times. That's a Les Paul Standard. Then I have a white custom Les Paul that you'd see Randy Rhoads or Lindsey Buckingham play. I love that guitar. That's from 1990. Then after that is a 1956 reissue gold top. That has P90 pickups in it, which are my favorite. Then I have a good old 1959 Les Paul. It's not a real one, it's a reissue with a flame top, nice flame top. And then in the very back is my old school Les Paul Classic with the snot green fret markers. Those are the Les Pauls that you see in the back of every shot. So this is the monitor that I use to get every shot. I look over here occasionally when I try not to actually, but I do it occasionally. I can't help myself. And then this is what I look at when I'm editing. So you can see I'm not in a green screen because this is behind me here. I'll move my chair like this. You can see I got my SG there. I have my signature guitar here. I'm going to zoom in here kind of. I'm actually not zooming in. I'm just rolling my chair over here. I have 2 monitors. This is a new Mac monitor with a Mac Studio right there. That works okay. This is an LG monitor. I'm honestly not that happy with that Mac Studio, I have to be honest with you. This is my Universal Audio Apollo X4 that I record through. And back here, this is actually some secret stuff too. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, what is that? That is where I keep my hard drives, some of them. I have a hard drive dock that's a USB-C. And then I have a bunch of hard drives over here with really terrible cable management, but you guys will forgive me because it's actually hidden. I don't actually ever have to really look at that. I just look here and then I get my picks out of my pick jar. I actually don't use that many of the picks in that picture. I really need to empty it out and get some new pictures. You can hear my seat needs to be oiled because it squeaks. And this is the microphone that I use for my live streams. By the way, these are the actual picks that I use. These Max Grip. I'm not endorsed by Dunlop. I use these because these are the only ones I can hold on to anymore for some reason. Probably because I'm an old guy. Next, we're going to check out the guitars in the second and third racks and gradually make our way into the control room. First in the rack is my PRS Custom 24. Beautiful guitar that has an incredible finish on it. It's actually blue. You can't tell it from there. Then I have my McCarty 594. Then I have my Ernie Ball 5-string bass. Then my P bass. Then my Rick. Then my good old yellow Les Paul Special. You see me playing a million videos. Then I have a, what is this guitar? Oh, I have my SG with P90s. Then I have my Kiesel guitar that has humbuckers. And this is all being obscured by my straps. I have all these straps here, although I pretty much only use this top one. I don't know why I have all these other straps there, but they're there in case I want to use a different one. Then I have my acoustics. I have a Martin D28 here. And then my Gibson country western from 1957 that you've seen me play in many of my videos. Next is my Charvel that Dave Honorato actually made for me with a rosewood neck on it. It's really cool. Then I have my Gibson, my Pelham Blue SG that I love. And then my custom-made Strat that Dave Honorato made with the old school kind of Jimi Hendrix headstock. And then my ES335. Over here, I have a bunch of pedals. I have a lot of pedals, along with Groku and my Joe Pass picture here that my dear friend Dave Rolfe gave me for my 60th birthday. I have a lot of pedals. You'll see here. I have them organized. Actually, Billy organized them. My John Lennon painting that my friend Rosa did that I love, and my YouTube 1 million subscriber thing. Then I have a couple presents that I got from Joni Mitchell. More pedals with even more pedals hidden behind them. Wow, a lot of pedals here. I do use pedals. You don't see them that often because I don't film the ground typically, but I should film my pedals. Once again, more of some of my electro harmonics. Some of these are really old pedals. Some are new pedals, like this Karma distortion, Karma bass pedal. And then over here are some other ones on my Hammond M3 organ that you can see, right? And this is my Leslie, my 147, along with my Trek 2 pedal that connects my guitar to the Leslie. Back here is my pump organ that I use occasionally when I'm doing sessions, which is actually really never. And then I have Advil sitting here just in case I get an arthritis flare up, which does happen from time to time. It's because I'm an old guy. My SVT 1968, first year ever made, 92 pounds. This thing, if it ever fell on you, you're a goner. Once again, we're going to look back at Billy. Okay, now we're going to walk back here. There's my signature guitar on some really cool guitar stand that I just got. And I'm not going to show you all the stuff here. I'm going to avoid it, that we're going to reveal at the end. What is behind the piano there? There's my string bass. And then we go into the ISO booth. You've seen me recording here many times. This is a red J45 that's absolutely beautiful. This is a Heiserman U47 microphone that I'm testing out. That sounds incredibly nice. Then we have Magnetone amplifier right here, along with my Iron Man 2. I use that all the time. That's an attenuator. Then my Dark Glass Alpha Omega 900 head and cabinet, my Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, my extremely great Park 18-watt head and cabinet that Mitch Colby built me. Then, of course, the white JCM 800 that you've seen in the back of many videos. And here is a Marshall Plexi reissue hand-wired with a 1971 cabinet. This is the ISO booth here, where I've done recordings for years and years and years. I would typically record guitars and things like that in there and vocals. And if I turn around here, I have my tape machine. But first, we just passed through an important thing. This is the doorway. There are two doors here. There's one door with glass here, right? And then there's a second door with glass here. Behind this is an airspace, okay? This is neoprene here. This is neoprene here. Now, if I walk from here into the control room, you see the back of the racks here. You see some guitars over here. There's my Pat Metheny guitar that I got in an auction. There's some other cameras and things here that we use for many of our shots. You see that guitar that I bought for the Ramble On video way in the corner. There's another red Les Paul there. Come back around here. There's a couch where I sit all the time. This is pretty much where I do a lot of my work, is really right here on the couch. This is where bands always used to sit. You can see a Strandberg over there. And then I've got other guitar racks here for when I sit in here and practice and work on stuff. There's my Esquire. There's my other signature guitar from Gibson. Then I've got a Fender 12 string that I use in the Stairway to Heaven video. Of course, my Dan Electro that you guys have seen in many videos, my Taylor 12 string. And I have this is my oldest guitar right here. This Guild right here, I've had since 19 1077. Look at that thing. Wow. This is a guitar that I'm going to put it right here so you can get an even better view of it. I love that guitar. I played 1,000,000 gigs on it. If I come back this way, you'll see these racks. Now, Ken, my assistant, and I built these racks. Actually, he built the racks. This one we built incorrectly because the top is supposed to go on here. It's really beat up because we've used it so much. This is where I always put the amps when Rhett and I are doing videos in here, or Dave. We put the amps there and then record in the ISO booth with the cabinets. Turn around here. This is where my computer is for the control room, along with my speakers. And then we have this rack, which was made properly, that has a bunch of outboard gear in it. Some mic pre's, BAE mic pre's that are basically Neve 1073s with different EQs, and I have some Neve 1081s there. Got a lot of mic pre's. I have this beautiful tape echo right here by Echo Fix. And then my NS10s along with this Little Labs. I don't even know if they make this anymore. Little Labs distribution box that'll split out to multiple amplifiers. But this is the control room that you see. This is what the control room looked like back in 2005. This is actually a room within a room, as you can see from the top. Here's what it looks like now, looking into the control room from the live room, and here's what it looked like back in 2005 while we were building it. This is another view of the control room, looking from the ISO booth towards the door into the garage. Okay, I know you're still waiting for the secret reveal of what's behind the piano, but first, GL, my old assistant, just showed up out of the blue, and we're going to go into the drum room and show you that. Okay, this is the other end of the studio. This is probably about, I don't know, 60 feet away. And this is the drum room. As you can hear, it's much more live in here. Now, there is stuff on the floor. It actually can get even more live in here if we want it to get. I have my Gretsch kit that's set up most of the time. That's the house kit. But as you can see, we have different snares. I've mentioned this before. If you have a bad drum sound, there's nothing you can do. You can put samples in it, but you don't want to have to put samples in. You want to get as good a drum sound as you can. And if a guy had a terrible sounding snare, your recording would be terrible. So I remember one time I said to you, I was like, I'm going to buy a snare. And I went to Guitar Center and I bought one. This is back in 2002 or so. And it's the first time that I spent money on any drums. And then I started buying, then I bought a drum kit and I started buying drums. And I would always buy different snares. This is a mahogany snare. This is a Black Beauty. This is a Brady snare. It's a Jura. It's a wood from Australia. It's a very hard snare to find. Down here is a Keplinger snare, bell brass snare.
It's about getting different sounds and having different character on the album. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I will say the great thing about having all these drums, every time he would go buy a drum, we would use it for a few sessions, and if it didn't work out, it would go back. It would go somewhere. It would get sold. So everything that he has here is a great piece of gear. That's how all this has ended up. Everything is really great. It sounds great, and it plays great. It's
we
just
would get
really
rid
nice
of
to
it. If it sounded bad or played bad, any piece of gear here, I'd always say to GL, what do you think? He's like,
yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs up.
We trying to amp or something. What do you think about that? I don't think it sounds very good. Okay, that's gone.
Yeah.
Or that drum set, no, that's good. That's not good. But we would experiment on days off. I would have him come in and we would try different drum heads on different drum. We would reskin all the drum heads and try out every combination we could possibly think of. That was a really big thing, is to understand how to tune drums, what drum heads sound best on what drums. If you wanted to get a retro sound, how to do that. You guys can see from some of my videos with Greg Bissonette or Bernard Purdy. Bernard discussed the way that he deadened his drums and talked a lot about that, reducing the overtones. That's a really big thing with drumming, drum sounds. So this is the drum room. Okay, so here we are with a special reveal. You guys have been wanting to know what is behind the piano. It's been a secret forever, but I'm gonna finally unveil it to you. Here we go. We're gonna walk over there. What do we have here? These are all my combo amps. I've got my Vox AC10 that I play in a lot of videos. My Vox AC30, Back here is a Fender Deluxe Reverb. Then I have another Deluxe Reverb back here. Then I have a Fender Princeton there. I have a Super Reverb. I have an old Gibson Skylark. I have a custom amp that my dear friend Keith Williams from 5 Watt World custom built. It's basically a B15 flip top, 2 different ones. My 1971 Marshall JMP head. Also, my Fender Twin and the secret weapon, the Boss Katana. I'm just kidding, it's not really a secret weapon. And then I have my YouTube 100,000 subscriber plaque. So the process to build the studio took about 4 to 5 months or so. It was really 4 of us. It was me, GL, Jimmy, and Mark, who was the singer from my old band, Billionaire. But we worked on it pretty much 6 days a week for 4 months or so. GL and I finished the last couple ISO booths because we had projects that were starting back up. But we literally took 4 months off from working.
Yeah, and we did literally everything in the studio except the electrical, wiring the electrical, and running the HVAC, and then I think carpet. But that was it. We did literally everything else. We laid floors, we did all the drywall, we put in all the insulation. That was horrible.
It was horrible. Jimmy designed it. Jimmy did everything. He did all the major construction. He built all the door frames. There's 13 doors in here, which is a lot of doors. So that's our studio tour. Everybody's asked me forever about when am I going to do one? How did we build the studio? Well, that's how it was done. And you obviously see that this has become the backdrop for my YouTube channel, but this is the story behind it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks, GL. Appreciate it.